Well, hello again everybody on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Dave's Garage. So we're finishing off the rear scuttle, and we start off with where we ended off with the last episode, with after I cut out the rear scuttle on the left hand side, or the near side. There's quite a mess underneath there, so we ended up having to cut up the panel that I had, but hey ho, it's worked out okay. You see a couple of new tools in this episode. Sandblasting cabinet, which I built donkeys years ago and reuse now and again. Use so rarely, in fact I haven't used it the last couple of years since I've been building the Escort, so it's the first time to see that on the channel. And a bit of oxypropane kit, which isn't mine. I've borrowed that, and also a long-term lend, I guess. A good friend of mine has lent me that, so that's come in handy to burn the braze out on the panel, so we need to do use of that. Also, see the demise of the Dremel, which hasn't even lasted 2 episodes, so bit perturbed by that. I'm gonna have to take that back and get a replacement. Somebody did comment, and I can't remember who. I did try and see if I could find the comment again, but I couldn't find it. That the slider on the Dremel, the speed control, packs up on them. So I thought, okay, let's see how long it lasts. I thought it'd last longer than a couple of months, but there we go, or a couple of weeks even. So watch your space. You see the old joking Dremel came out, the vibrating device came out again, so it is what it is. Anyway, let's crack on with the video and see how it gets on. Okay, again, let's see what damage we can do with this. So I think the first thing I'll do is get the angle wheel on it and clean it all back to fresh metal and see what we got. We've got some surface corrosion on it here and there. Just see what we got and take it from there. Well, that answers one question. Should I use all the vents and cut it off over here somewhere? No, because there's a hole in it. So I think we'll come to about here somewhere, cut through this vent, which will be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, correspond with that one, and use from there up, because that'll just be a small bit of welding there and there, then plug welding mostly for the rest of it. So what we need to do now is start unspotting this. Now, one of the reasons why you can see if we can get the lighting on this better, you can see where the spot welds are better when you clean the metal off. So we can start attacking those and see if we can unpin this from the lower piece. Right, so hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing. My intention is to drill through both panels with a small drill bit, then flip it over and use one of these swat weld cutters just to cut through the back panel, and then I can open out these small holes this side to 5mm ready for the plug welds. Right, let's get it on the floor and see if I can tease it apart. Now, it's never that easy, but we'll make a start to see what happens. I can always straighten these flanges up, so don't worry too much about what they look like. What's going on there then? That's worrying. That looks like some braze has got through there and stuck those two panels together. Yeah, that's going to cause us some grief. How are we going to get that top panel apart from this bottom panel? But I think they seem to be brazed together. Right, let's get these cut off here so we can separate this from here at least. I fear we are stuck fast with two things here. Braze around these corners, there and there, and the goop they use underneath there to seal it with. So I'll see if I can get hold of a torch to melt that out. That's going to be pretty high powered torch. But failing that, I think we may be cutting this off here somewhere so we can separate everything apart and then take it from there. I think I might do that first because I think this lower piece is going to be done for anyway. So yeah, I think if I take a cutting disc along here, so I can just separate these pieces, it'll be more manageable piece at least. That's going to be a little bit easier to deal with. And maybe if you ever get the eyes in to see what's going on here, you can see, in fact, all the goop in there. Yeah, they're stuck fast. Let's see what utter damage we can do with this then. Let's see. Now, I've never tried this before, so I don't know whether it's going to work or not. Let's see whether I can melt out the braze or not. It's worth a try, because as it is, I won't be able to use that unless I can get it released from this back panel anyway. And some of you may be thinking, oh, you need the back panel anyway. Yes, I do, but I need to be able to fit this back piece first and then fit this on top of it. Otherwise I'm not going to be able to get to it to weld it. So I have to separate them one way or the other. So let's see what happens. It's always this way, except if I do it properly. Get my thing on. Probably should put a mask on. Right, chisels. Should we start prizing it apart? I'm doing is making it a terrible shape. Well, it's starting to lift off on the goop at least. Okay, there is that. Oh, what am I doing to it? Making all shapes here. Oh dear. This isn't going very well. I suppose part of the problem I got is it's still braised down. So I could do with 4 hands. Right, what could possibly go wrong? So let's see if I can get some heat in there at the same time trying to prise this apart. Okay, kind of getting there. Let's try the top bit. Okay. Right, well, I've got the 2 bits separated. Still quite toasty, so I'll grab it with this. Have to give that a clean up, see if I can rescue any of that, which I think I probably will be able to. Actually, the bits like what I need of it, I might be able to reuse. And because I went in like a ham-fisted idiot, I've dented up the tops there, so I need to clean those up. But I think on the whole we can do something with that. This might give me an opportunity to use a new toy. I've had this from Metal Shaper Tom. I'll put a link in the description. He's only a small-time YouTuber, so he can't afford to be giving this away to me, but he did give me a little discount to be fed him, so I appreciate that very much. But this is his slapper spoons that he makes, and this is what we're going to need to sort out these stupid dents I put in here. So before I do that though, I probably should clean the back of this off with a bit of emery cloth just to make sure I'm not putting more things into it that don't belong there. So let's do that first. On a positive news, the back of this panel is just surface rust, so if I can get this tidy and cleaned up, then happy days. You can see now I've scratched it up a bit. Hopefully the high spots where I've gone in like a muppet. So let's see if we can tap those down. We can try. Right, dolly would be a good idea. Yeah, I think that'll do us better. My apologies to you proper guys out there who do this properly, because you're probably cringing horribly. Yeah, that's working. The idea of this is it spreads the load around, so rather than hitting it with a hammer, which would do more damage, this will spread it around. Apparently, it's the first time we've used one, so let's find out. I'm up against the curvature of this panel. Oop, where are we? I'm up against the curvature of the panel is more than this. So I'm gonna, yeah, that's not gonna work, is it? Okay. You'll have to use me. Yeah, that's better. So I've got a bit of curvature on that, so I'll have to use that on it. Sorry, Tom. Good bit of kit, but I'll find a use for it to give a proper demonstration somewhere else. Right, the only next thing is hopefully we haven't taken too much shape out of it with the heat we've put into it. And time will tell with that once we get it into the car. There we can pop down. Okay. So hopefully you can see now that we've removed the dents, the worst of the dents from that. Yeah, that's nice and smooth now, so that's good news. Right, onwards and upwards. So before we go any further, apart from cleaning this piece up properly, we want to cut out underneath now. So you notice I've cut tight to the right hand side of this vent. So what I intend to do now is cut to the left hand side of this one, so we've got a bit of overlap there to play with. And obviously you want to get these vents the right sizes, gaps in the middle. And you know, remember we did something similar when we changed the front scuttle, so that's not the end of the world. Fill out that there and cut this out along there, and then clean up the back of the spot welds there. So let's start doing that next. Once all that's out of the way, then we can start looking at doing a repair on this. Oh, I was right the first time. Right, the million-dollar question is now, how much of this can we use? Would we need to use? That's got rid of quite a lot of that nastiness. We're back to reasonable thickness steel there now, so we can work with that. It's just a little bit of surface rust which we can clean off. I want to take this flange out as well and clean up all around this snottiness here and see what we got. There we go, that's trimmed that flange off of there and cleaned up that flange. That's nice and solid along there, so that's good. We need to clean out that brass there because that's going to cause us some problems. So we'll trial fit our top panel on to see how we're looking. I need to trim the bend those flanges back a touch for there a second. Yeah, well, the flanges need tidying up to get them right, but we've still got our correct curve there, so that's good. So we haven't lost our shapes with the heat of it, so that looks promising, and that shape is all good as well. So happy days. All right then, I think it's time to use something I don't think I've used on my channel yet. This is my homemade blasting cabinet, media blasting cabinet. It's not brilliant, but it does do the job. So it's just made from a few old bits and scraps of timber and stuff, some bit of perspex, a couple of LED lighting, which I've bought new actually to give me better lighting when I'm filming. Up in there is a fan, which you can probably hear to pull the dust and rubbish out. The gun is part of what used to be like a pop sandblaster. So again, it could be better, and I think I probably will improve on it over the years. But I haven't actually had to use it that often, so that's why I haven't improved it. But I am going to use it on these pieces because I think these could do with a proper cleaning, especially up underneath this one here. It's probably the best way of doing it. Quite a slow process, so I set it up as to film it, and then we can speed it up. Also, because somebody has asked, why don't I get one? I already have one. Those Chinese heaters. If we put it on, set it to go in there. I don't generally have this running while I'm filming because it is quite noisy. But since I'm going to be sandblasting and the compressor is going to be on and the sandblasting is noisy, I don't suppose it's going to make much difference. So I'll leave that run. I'll come up to pressure in a second and start running. Again, it's just a cheap Chinese one. It's one I've actually taken apart. It did come in a proper box, but I've taken it apart. So I've got the fuel tank down there. The fuel pump is separate, just so I can wall mount it, so it's a bit more out of the way, sort of than kicking about. Right, okie doke. Sandblasting time. See if I can find a way of propping my phone up here without slipping down. I'm afraid the picture's not going to be great because it's looking through perspex, which isn't great anyway. Right, well there we go, there's the result. It's got, I think I need to go over it just a little bit more, just to get just a second time just again. But I've stopped filming this because I don't think you're going to get much of a picture through the glass with the Perspex. It's pretty ropey, but that's the idea, get the surface rust off it. So I'll crack on now and do the other piece, and then we can give it a coat of weld through primer to protect it then. Right, so here they are, fresh out of the oven, so to speak. So you can see there's a nice, get some light on that for you. There we go. You can see that's cleaned up very nicely, and it's the best way of getting rid of rust really. And same here, this is all cleaned up beautifully. Focus. Got the little pitted there, but nothing too deep. Small repair we need to do there, that's no problem. So I'll give that a clean up now with some panel wipe and give these both a good coat of paint now. Alfred's weld through primer, marvellous stuff. Not only does it work the weld through primer, it works brilliantly as a rust preventer. Happy days. Well, that didn't take long. My Dremel has died. I tried changing a fuse in case it was that. It's not that. There's nothing. It was working and now it's not working. So back to Argos with that. That's a hassle I could do without. Right, okay, we've broken out the cheap tool again. So I'll go and have a chat with Argos about the Dremel and get a new one sorted. Right, looks like it's going to be one of those days. So, been using my cheap Dremel knockoff because my actual Dremel, the expensive one, is packed up. I thought I was filming and was not. So you've missed me cutting out all this, but not to worry, it's not that exciting to see. I've also found some rot in this piece here, so I've cut that out. So do some repairs here first. Get my repair section here, also needs some repairs done to it, but I might do these in place. So that's to go in there like so, and to repair all this around it as well. So we'll crack on with that. I was thinking further down the line, need to work out how I'm going to weld these two pieces together, because unlike on the other side where I put the flange in first and came up to it, I'm not keen to do that on this one. I'm not really keen to break this apart. So I'm just wondering whether I will actually have space underneath to get to it, to spot it in place. Possibly, we'll worry about that later on. Okay, so first things first, let's make a repair for that section there. Righto, so this is where we're at. We've got this piece reinstated, all fully welded round, just needs dressing up now, ready for the top piece there to go on. Righto, we're all cleaned off and ready for a coat of weld through primer, and then we can start fitting the final piece. Okay, so got the boot back in place. So what we can do now is just have a quick sense check of the gaps, and we're all looking there or thereabouts. We can do something with that. Our gaps for our slots, vents are looking good as well. So what we'll do now is mark this up and start settling this into place. Okay, so we are happy with our boot line. Nice sharp scribe. Yes. Right, what I think I'll do as well is find a drill bit which perfectly fits these slots and double check that slot, and if that is bang on, and I'll get a screw through these before I cut it out. When I cut it out, put the screw back in, put it back where we should be. Right, I could not find a drill bit that fits perfectly because it's about 11.5 mil. So we've got my calipers to the right gap. That's interesting. Must be a different tool press this one than press the one I got. Well, we're just gonna have to go with what we got and hope it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. Not much in it, it's about 0.5 millimeter in it difference. But it shows a different tool pressed in a different panel pressed in a different factory. Yeah, it's different. Okay. We just have to accept that it's different. And let's get a clamp down on there. Well, our scribe's in the same place, so that's a good start. Right, okay, so I now know that when I cut this off, I'll take this off, cut that and put this back in place, it's going to go back where it came off of. And theoretically, should be correct. One way to find out. Right, something I noticed before I get too carried away and make this inaccessible is this is quite rough in there, so I think I'll clean that up first, because I'm never going to be able to get to that again. I eventually intend to do some sort of wax injection in along through here and what have you, just to protect all that, because that's not very well protected in there from the factory. Yeah, that's going to be better. Yes, lovely. Right, I'll give that a coat of paint, then I need to open these holes out then. Yeah, we are back to where we need to be. Open these holes out for plug welding. that's looking a bit prettier around that neck of the woods. I'm not convinced I've got this quite right just yet. Mostly because of what's going on down in this corner here. Okay, I think I might be able to get a torch in behind there. Let's have a trial run of that. Okay, I will be able to get to that just about. It's going to be a fiddle, and how I'm going to film it is another thing. What I'm up against here now is trying to get this nice and neat here, and coming down to grab these tidy as well. What I think I might try and do is get a tack there and chuck my boot lid back on, see what our gaps are looking like, because I'm worried that we're losing our gaps. Let's do that. So what I've got this clamped underneath here to hold that in place, which is pull this down slightly. So try and see if we can manipulate this round to play my game. Okay, let's try the boot lid back on. Right, that's okay. We are within reason there. This is not perfect because the boot's not fitted perfectly, but we can see we can do something with it. So we've got that nicely lined up there now. Got a crack appeared in the corner there, so we'll have to tidy that up. And then these are lining up nicely as well. So crack on with welding that in place, then we'll refit the boot lid and see what we've got. Right, next challenge, underneath there. I really don't know how I'm going to film this, if at all. Probably just see me struggling. Right, it's not easy to see, but I have managed to get some spot welds in there, plug welds in there. Not very pretty ones, but they'll do the job. They're strong enough. They're just a bit ugly, so really struggling to get to them. Okie doke then. That's the finished article. So we've got a nice body seam down there, all welded in. I've yet to finish off these around the vents properly, but I'm going to wait till I got my Dremel replaced to do that, so I've got a nice controllable blade to do that with, because that's going to go out of shape really quickly if I go in there with that thing, because it's vibrating like mad now. So let's get the boot lid back on and check our gaps. Right, after taking way longer and much more head scratching than was ever needed to, finally got these things back in place. Now the trick is to put the springs on before you put them in place. It's a faff, and it's a bit hard to explain how to do it without showing you, and I couldn't work out how to get a camera in there while I was struggling in the boot to do it. So it's just one of those things that makes sense as you do it, but it's a challenge. Right, that's not bad. We can work with that. That's a fairly even gap along there. We're nice. We need a little bit of backwards or forwards there, but that's just a matter of hinge placement. But on the whole, pleased with that. That's where Scuttle come out nice. Happy days. All done. All looking tickety-boo. The back of the Escort's looking nice now. We're running out of welding, although I keep saying that and keep finding more. So I think what I'll start doing now is, while the car's built up and the weight is in the car, with the engine, the gearbox and the axles and all the hefty weight, if you like, start looking at the door gaps and the panel gaps and getting those reasonable. I'm not expecting to get them crisp, perfectly crisp, but get them reasonable, ready for final finishing. Because the car does slightly move as you take the weight out of it. So if I wait till I've stripped the car back down again, ready for finishing, the panel gaps will move very slightly. So we try and get them as close as, or reasonably close, while it's got the weight in it and it's sitting on its wheels. The driver's side door, I think has had a crease down the bottom of it. So I feel on the inside there's a bit of a mark there. So I think next episode will probably be having a look at that, strip that down and see what occurs there. So look forward to that. Look forward to your comments and what you think, and on your ideas about the Dremel and your experiences of the Dremel, and let me know you get on with that. And thank you again to my subscribers. It's very good of you guys to continue supporting the channel. It does help an awful lot to help the channel grow, and we're nudging quite nicely towards 8,000 subscribers now, so that's a nice jump. So every time I seem to talk about this, it's jumped nicely again and again, so brilliant. As always, to spit it out, Dave, it does make a big help, a big difference. Does make a big help, does make a big difference. I can't get my words out, man.